My name is Steven LaGanke. I lead our global business for what we call defense, which is ballistic protection for military and law enforcement personnel. I'm now with the Arclin company. The Kevlar brand is, I would say, the leading brand in ballistic protection and has been for many years. I think most people, when they hear Kevlar, the first thing they think about is military and law enforcement protection. So to me, it's an important and very powerful brand, and it's a great company to be part of. Kevlar EXO is an aramid fiber that has a completely different chemistry and manufacturing process versus Kevlar. So versus the Kevlar that has been around for 60 years. So we worked for over a decade to come up with a new fiber, the manufacturing process and design and develop a new fiber, because we knew this market needed a higher strength, a higher performance aramid fiber. So we're very proud of this. It's something that we launched 2 years ago, and we continue to make improvements to the process. But again, Kevlar EXO, brand new chemistry. It's really the first aramid fiber major invention in 50 years. We first started with a pilot line and developed the chemistry, developed the manufacturing process, and we now have a full commercial facility. So since startup, we continue to work on improving the physical properties, hopefully making the fiber stronger and stronger and stronger, as we would have done with Kevlar 60 years ago. But hopefully, the stronger the fiber is, the less material is needed to stop a bullet, which ultimately makes more lightweight, more comfortable solutions for military and law enforcement personnel. So hard armor has its own challenges versus soft armor. So soft armor, you want comfort, mobility, flexibility to not restrict you from your ability to do your job. With hard armor, you want lightweight, but it is by nature, it's a hard structure like a helmet or an insert plate, a torso protection plate. For those, you want lightweight, but you also want the materials to perform having multiple hits. You want to make sure that your helmet performs well, not only for bullet resistance, but also making sure that you have trauma resistance, which means the energy that goes into the helmet, you want to make sure it doesn't make it to your head. You want to make sure it doesn't create additional damage beyond just what the bullet would. So that's a challenge that the market's been trying to solve, and hopefully with Kevlar EXO we can help solve some of those problems. So the biggest piece is its higher strength. So even Kevlar EXO is 30 to 40% higher strength than our traditional Kevlar, which means if you can make it work properly and the right carrier design and the right design, hopefully you can make a 30 to 40% lighter weight and still stop the same threats. So ultimately that's what we're trying to do. So it's a different chemistry, different manufacturing process, but ultimately it's 30 to 40% higher performing in terms of strength, which hopefully means you can make body armor 30 to 40% lighter. So the big challenges in lightweight hard armor, one of them is you have to make sure you maintain the level of rigidity you need for a helmet. Helmets go through a lot of wear and tear, particularly in military environments, and you want to make sure they're very durable. You also obviously want to make sure they stop bullet rounds, fragment rounds, but also make sure that they do protect your head and make sure that you don't get trauma, concussion, and things like that. But I would say overall, protecting the helmet, protecting obviously the person inside. When it comes to a torso plate, many times you'll have ceramic tile that has to take multiple hits, and you want to make sure that you hold that tile together very well so that it continues to protect the military personnel even after the first hit. So the big thing as Arclin, first of all, Arclin want to make sure that we continue to help our customers grow. Arclin bought not just the Kevlar brand, but bought the assets, so the manufacturing facilities, the whole team, all of the product portfolio, and of course the brands. So I would say the first piece is to make sure that we have continuity of supply to our customers, but ultimately Arclin's going to make the investments in Kevlar, Nomex, and Kevlar EXO to continue to help support our customers, but also meet our growth goals. We want to make sure that Kevlar EXO is something that's used in ballistics and beyond as a great opportunity to help solve problems that have been unsolvable in the past. So depending on the design, I think one of them is aramid can be in a woven fabric, similar to our shirts and things like that, which means it's very durable. It's a very durable structure. It's conformable, so hopefully it makes the body armor fit better. And then the other piece is aramid in a helmet. Aramid helmets can be manufactured more rapidly, so you can make like 4 aramid helmets to every 1 polyethylene helmet, for example. And it also has better structural rigidity and trauma performance. So those are some of the main benefits that we're looking for to get out of Kevlar EXO. And again, helping our military and law enforcement personnel do a better job at doing their job. Yeah, we get asked that quite a bit. I think, when I think of sustainability, there is the materials that are being used to manufacture. There's the amount of materials you need to use to do your design. There's the recyclability or the end life. But in body armor, like what happens at the end of life? So after, whether it's a 5-year, 7-year, 10-year life cycle, what happens to the material afterwards? Kevlar EXO, because it's a woven fabric, at the end of life, it can actually be broken down. You can remove the fibers, and you can recycle those fibers to be used, hopefully in a high value, maybe woven into a glove that has cut resistance or something. But to us, I think it really goes to those main areas. Number one, hopefully it's not hazardous to the environment to produce. You use less materials to be able to manufacture, and then of course, recyclability and end of life to overall, hopefully reduce your overall carbon footprint. So we use it in many areas. There's sporting goods. We actually have some golf club shafts that are made by a company by the name of Kinetics that has used Kevlar EXO golf club shafts to make really high performing sporting goods equipments. There is composite opportunities, could be aerospace. We actually have some Formula One fuel bladders that are being used where Kevlar EXO hopefully helps make sure that the fuel stays within the bladder even after it gets punctured to protect the driver and the people around the driver. So there's many different, micro orbital meteor debris. So if you have a satellite in space, Kevlar EXO is currently being used to protect satellites. So there's many other places, again, where Kevlar EXO can be used where maybe traditional materials were not able to be used. So there's going to be continued push towards comfort and mobility. So if I'm a military personnel, I want to make sure that I'm protected, but I want to make sure I can stay out of harm's way. So my ability to move is going to be something that's really important. Lightweight materials, flexible materials, making sure that we look at evolving threats. Drone strikes and things like that are an evolving threat that soldiers and others, maybe on a military base, need protection. So we continue to expect that as the threats evolve, we're going to need to continue to bring new protective materials, but also really continue to drive towards armor that is more comfortable, that people will want to wear, and doesn't restrict their movement and their ability to do their job. One of the areas I wanted to talk about is what we're trying to do to help improve the comfort and mobility of military and law enforcement personnel. And we worked with a company in Germany by the name of the 𝐲𝐸𝐦𝐸𝐸 Institute. And what we did is we took wear trial data and developed test methods to be able to predict the outcome of a wear trial. So why is this important? So one of the biggest complaints we get, I'll use law enforcement personnel as an example, is their body armor is not comfortable. So if you understand the problem you're trying to solve, and then you can predict the pain points. So we identified 9 pain points working with the 𝐲𝐸𝐸𝐸 Institute, and then these test methods predict the outcome of a wear trial. So why is that important? So one, it hopefully drives the body armor manufacturers to design body armor that's more comfortable and more flexible. It also hopefully inspires the material manufacturers, whether it's us or any of our competitors, to make materials that are more flexible and more mobile, to hopefully make body armor, again, that's more conformable, you can move easier, and hopefully help you do your job at a higher level because you're more comfortable. So we think that's really important, and if you're interested, you can look at the 𝐲𝐸𝐸𝐸 Institute. We also have on our Kevlar website, we have a video that describes these test methods, but it's something we think is going to be really important in the market to hopefully drive more comfortable body armor in the future. We're very excited, particularly about the move under Arclin. Arclin's a great company. We expect investment to continue to drive growth. So I think that's going to be really exciting for us. That happened on April 1st, and you know, this is some of this is new for me, but everybody that I've been involved with in the Arclin company has been very eager to drive growth for Kevlar, Nomex, and Kevlar EXO. So that's very exciting for us. And I would say it's been a great show. Certainly there's a lot of interest in new materials, particularly when it comes to military and law enforcement protection. So to me, it's been a great show, and I'm continuing to be excited to be part of this segment.